Hi, and welcome to the Earwire tutorial. First of all, you want to take 3.5 inches of a 20 gauge half hard silver or gold. This happens to be rose gold. And we're going to bend it in half. So you could just measure the halfway point, but I tend to just grab my piece of wire and guesstimate the halfway point and squeeze it with my fingers. It's usually a pretty good method. When you get to this point, they're going to want to crisscross. I want you to take your chain nose pliers. Those are the ones with the flat inside. I want you to squeeze this sideways. Okay, so you have a nice squeeze together portion there. And then we're going to take your round nose pliers and you're going to make that first loop right here. I call it a P. We're making a P, and we're going to want to pick somewhere on this plier that isn't too large or too small, because we do want to be able to hang a component from it. So I'm going to place it right about here, and I don't want any part of it sticking up real far. It could, I barely can touch mine, but this way, when you make your P, it can touch all the way to your wire. So I'm going to touch my thumb to the tool and hold these two pieces of wire as I twist my tool. And if you're left-handed, you may have to figure out how to reverse this. But then I take my tool out and I've made essentially a P. Now the next step, if you don't have special pliers, you can use a pen or a pencil that is round. That's about the right size for an ear wire loop. We're going to be making the second larger loop right here. I really like these AccuLoop pliers that I picked up. I think I have a few extra pair available, but they have these two different, it's like a round nose plier, but this has a smaller side and a larger side. And the nice thing is they are stepped, so you can see what millimeter they are to be able to wrap around. And I like between a 6 and a 7 for an ear wire. So I'm going to place my P, so to speak, on facing the smaller side, and I squeeze my wire somewhere in between the 6 and 7. I'm going to do the same motion I did originally. So I'm going to hold my thumb against my tool, and I'm going to twist it around until it touches. Okay, so when you pull it off, it'll look like this. Now mine's a little bit wonky, and so you can use your flat nose pliers to just kind of bend it into the shape that you need it. Okay. Now if your ends aren't nice and flat or the right length, you can come in here with these flush cutters. These flush cutters have a flat side and a divoted side. You want to use the flat side on your finished product. So you come in here with the flat side and even them out. Now to be able to get this little bit of a groove, or this part right here that's bent just slightly helps. If you have your earring and it's about to fall out, usually that's going to help stop it, so you won't hopefully lose your earrings. So with that, you can use the flat nose or the chain nose pliers and just give it a little upturn. You don't want to make it too much of an upturn, but just enough to where if it was to pull out of your ear, that might help stop it a little bit. The pieces are still stuck together, so we're going to go ahead and put our round nose pliers into the first loop that we made, and we're going to open it a little bit. That way we can get our flush cutters in there. And again, this is the side. That flat side is where we want to put it against our finished product. We're just going to nip the very end where that loop connects them together. So that loop got cut off, and now I've got two earring wire. I will come back in with my round nose and loop them closed. And in my next video tutorial, I'll show you how to make some earrings and connect them. The last step is you just have one more thing to do, and that's on these little edges, the part that goes into your ear. I like to do a little bit of sanding too, just so they're not sharp anywhere. And you can also let your sandpaper be down like this. You don't want to sand them to a point, but you definitely want to get the edges off so they're not sharp. A piece of sandpaper is always helpful in jewelry making. All right, there you have it. A pair of ear wire that you made your very own.